Yeah, exactly on time. Wow, that's amazing, huh? All right, well, thank you so much for being in this spiritual healing moment together. And this is day 30 of the 40 Days Awakening Intensive. So it's another legendary step, so to speak, in our calendar of days. And it's great that you joined today. We start with a meditation, and it's a really beautiful meditation. It's like, wow, I listened to it again and it's like so beautiful. Yeah, it can take you home if you want, if you let it. It will take you home, and that's exactly where it was for. It's like enter deeply into peace. This is your chance to let peace transform everything within you to its origin, you could say. So that's one thing that's coming up. Then we have our spiritual healing moment together. The second part, which is going to be really with the beautiful topic or beautiful focus, you could say, of uniting. Now, uniting is an interesting idea when you look at it in terms of oneness, because then everything should be united, right? So on our way to that, to experience that fully, uniting is a great topic. It's very, say, miracle prone. It's like this is where the miracle is for, to remember, to unite in the love of God. And anything that can help with that is wonderful. It's like everything that's inspired to let that occur is in fact what a miracle is. So yeah, that's an essential step. And so the meditation is actually part of that too. You'll see. And then afterwards, of course, the part that we look at together, we will be reading in the spiritual healing handbook. We will be looking at certain expressions and look at the idea of uniting together with one another, recognizing our oneness. So that's going to be so lovely. I cannot wait for that to happen. That's why this occurs, I guess. So we start with the meditation. I'm going to share something I prepared with you, and enjoy. No one can lose and everyone must gain whenever any gift of God has been requested and received by anyone. God gives but to unite. To take away is meaningless to him. And when it is as meaningless to you, you can be sure you share one will with him and he with you. And you will also know you share one will with all your brothers, whose intent is yours. It is this one intent we seek today, uniting our desires with the need of every heart, the call of every mind, and the hope that lies beyond despair. The love attack would hide, the brotherhood that hate has sought to sever, but which still remains as God created it. With help like this beside us, Can we fail today as we request the peace of God be given us? Wow, suddenly I have to do something to turn off the music. Oh, where am I? That's really interesting after a meditation, I can tell you that. That's lovely. So today the spiritual healing perspective moment together. And you see in the meditation that we did, it starts with the idea of uniting. And this is a theme that I love to bring in. Yeah, it's not a theme, it's an actual occurrence. So this with all the ideas that are being shared that have to do with wholeness is that it is an experience. It is, yeah, a gift you give to one another, recognizing that you give to yourself. And so today, for instance, this came in the meditation. It's like whenever somebody has asked to receive the gifts of God and received it, it is given to everyone. Now that's quite something. So what are the gifts of God? You know, what are the gifts of God? That's already interesting to take a look at, and some ideas might pop up in your memory or in your associative thinking. But if you really take a look at it, then you recognize, wow, this is so deep, this is so incredible, what is being offered. And it can only be received by the one that requests it. It can be received, but then at the same time it's going to be given to everyone. Like no one is taken apart from it. No, it is not personal. But it's totally yours at the same time. It is without exception. And it has everything to do with you. So that's so lovely about it. And so that's so great when we are in meditation, or this really also was a contemplation. It's like the beautiful thing of it is that you have an opportunity to open up again, to listen again. What is being said? What was it? What was it? What was it? You know, and you go deeper and deeper into that. And suddenly you might hear something in between the lines, the words. Something, it's like you become so eager to hear it that there's space in your mind for the light to come in. And then it's like, wow, yeah, I know what this is about. I know what this is about. And I love to receive that. I'm so happy with all the opportunities that are given to have this possibility. Now that's wonderful when it happens during a meeting like this. But see, the thing is, you think of a meeting as a place where you can actually practice this. But then it doesn't stop there. It's not like, okay, so on Sundays we go to church and then the rest of the week we do whatever we like to come back to church on Sunday. No, this is a bit different, because it's like Why not today? Why not ask for it today? Why not practice this today? Why not give this a try today? And so another aspect of it that we saw in the meditation, and then I leave it for what it is in a certain sense, is the idea of no, we have one intent. No, they're not separate intents. No, there's one intent that we share. You know, and that's universal. It's in fact in every cry, in every asking for help, in every we had some examples here in this meditation too. It's like the need of every heart, and all of that. It's like, yes, there's one intent, there's one purpose, and that we share. No, that they're not different purposes. No, you got it. No, you missed it. No, there's just one intent, and yeah, we're gonna take a look at that, because if there's one intent, unity becomes obvious, and it's like, of course, yes, we don't have opposing goals. No, of course not. So that's what is lovely about this section of the. It is like you can use all these expressions in the Spiritual Healing Handbook. You can use all these expressions to look at it from different angles. Well, unity is a beautiful one to take a look at. Coming from that perspective of unity, it is beautiful. You see how incredible this is. So, and that's what we're doing today. In some of the expressions, you will see it, and yeah, that's a great discovery. That's really something else. So now the fact, or maybe this you recognize. I'm not saying it's a fact, but in your perception of yourself, because that perception is not a fact at all. In your perception of yourself, you might not directly think that you have the same intent as your brother. You might think that you have opposing goals that you want to achieve. And it might look like that too. So, so the great thing then with spiritual healing, you could say, is the rediscovery of this one intent, this one purpose. Because if you receive that, if you accept that, then in fact you see also that there's no what's the word for that? It's like your brother doesn't have a different need of anything. It's like there's no opposing will. That's one thing. So, in other words, your will and the will of God are one, because God has also one intent, and it's the same as yours. God is one will, and it's yours. So to think that you have a different will is where the conflict starts. But you don't have a different will. And if you get over all the ideas that you think that comes with a sacrifice, that you have to, say, hand over your toys and your favorites, then it's going to be a bit of a struggle. But if you see that if you have your purpose clear, so to speak, your one intent clear, and then it becomes obvious again. And it's like, of course, there's no conflict with that. My will and God's will are one. And that's how I can be an instrument of healing. And that's how I can be, extending the love of God. And which is my greatest, pleasure, you could say. It's my greatest fulfillment. So that's a bit like the main line today in recognizing what is being shared. And take that with you during this meeting, because it can be helpful if you start to have contact with each other. All right, so this is one part. Now another part that I love to start with, actually, is reading some pages, maybe 1 or 2 pages of the Spiritual Healing Handbook, and I want to invite you to participate in it. So you open your microphone when you feel like, yes, I want to do this. I want to share. I want to say out loud some of these words. And then it's like, just take one paragraph or one part of it to express, whether that's one sentence, whether that's 5 sentences or 200 sentences, it doesn't matter. So, and then the other thing is, read it slowly. It's like there's a real treasure in all of them. There's a real pearl to discover in all of the expressions. That's why they were, say, put in one PDF or one book, you could say. And give yourself the time to discover that pearl while we're actually reading it. So this is really something you give to yourself by receiving it. If you slow down sufficiently, you will see that you can come to a deeper layer of what is being shared, in fact. And at the same time, you're the only one that needs to hear it. And if you hear it, we will all hear it. So that's really great. So here we can start with the reading. So when you feel like, yeah, I want to do the next sentence, you open your microphone and you just start doing it. So I will start with this. Healing will flash across your open mind as peace and truth arise to take the place of war and vain imaginings. There will be no dark corners sickness can conceal and keep defended from the light of truth. So healing will flash across your open mind as peace and truth arise to take the place of war and vain imaginings. There will be no dark corners sickness can conceal and keep defended from the light of truth. So let me know. If you cannot read it, I'll make it bigger, but I think it should be all right. But who knows? Let me know.
So,
The
ma'am, do we
world,
continue? Sorry, go ahead.
okay, the world obeys the laws that sickness serves, but healing operates apart from them. The world obeys the laws that sickness serves, but healing operates apart from them.
Thank you.
But healing is accomplished as he sees the body has no power to attack the universal oneness of God's Son. Sickness would prove that lies must be the truth, but healing demonstrates the truth is true. But healing is accomplished as he sees the body has no power to attack the universal oneness of God's Son. Sickness would prove that lies must be the truth, but healing demonstrates that truth is true.
Healing might thus be called a counter-dream, which cancels out the dream of sickness in the name of truth, but not in truth itself. Just as forgiveness overlooks all sins that never were accomplished, healing but removes illusions that have not occurred. Healing must thus be called a counter-dream, which cancels out the dream of sickness in the name of truth, but not in truth itself. Just as forgiveness overlooks all sins that never were accomplished, healing but removes illusions that have not occurred.
For healing is the opposite of all the world's ideas which dwell on sickness and on separate states. For healing is the opposite of all the world's ideas which dwell on sickness and on separate states.
Just as forgiveness shines away all sin, and the real world will occupy the place of what you made, so healing must replace the fantasies of sickness, which you hold before the simple truth. Those who are healed become the instruments of healing, nor does time elapse between the instant they are healed and all the grace of healing it is given them to give. Just as forgiveness shines away all sin, and the real world will occupy the place of what you made, so healing must replace the fantasies of sickness, which you hold before the simple truth. Those who are healed become the instruments of healing, nor does time elapse between the instant that they are healed and all the grace of healing it is given them to give.
Are you not sick if you deny yourself your wholeness and your health? The source of help, the call to healing, and the call to heal. Your Savior waits for healing, and the world waits with him. Are you not sick if you deny yourself your wholeness and your health? The source of help, the call to healing, and the call to heal. Your Savior waits for healing, and the world waits with him.
Or healing will be one, or not at all. Its oneness being where the healing lies. Or healing will be one, or not at all. Its oneness being where the healing lies.
You have accepted healing's cause, and so it must be you are healed. And being healed, the power to heal must also now be yours. If one appearance must remain apart from healing, one illusion must be part of truth. You have accepted healing's cause, and so it must be you are healed. And being healed, the power to heal must also now be yours. If one appearance must remain apart from healing, one illusion must be part of truth.
Here is the gift of healing, for the truth needs no defense, and therefore no attack is possible. Illusions can be brought to truth to be corrected, but the truth stands far beyond illusions and cannot be brought to them to turn them into truth. Here is the gift of healing, for the truth needs no defense, and therefore no attack is possible. Illusions can be brought to truth to be corrected, but the truth stands far beyond illusions and cannot be brought to them to turn them into truth. Amen.
I am as God created me. His son can suffer nothing, and I am his son. I am as God created me. His son can suffer nothing, and I am his son.
But healing is the gift of those who are prepared to learn there is no world and can accept the lesson now. Their readiness will bring the lesson to them in some form which they can understand and recognize. But healing is the gift of those who are prepared to learn there is no world and can accept the lesson now. Their readiness will bring the lesson to them in some form which they can understand and recognize.
You need not realize that healing comes to many brothers far across the world, as well as to the ones you see nearby, as you send out these thoughts to bless the world. You need not realize that healing comes to many brothers far across the world, as well as to the ones you see nearby, as you send out these thoughts to bless the world.
All right, thank you so much for participating in this. You see, that's different if we do it like this, and I love the variety of it. It's like we don't do this one way, so any way can work for us, and it's good to stand still and to hear each other's voices say these words, because there's an so this is my experience with it too. It's like there's an I can take this off. There's a real, say, help in saying these words out loud. And because that is like your whole system, your room, your everything around you is hearing what you are actually bringing into it. It's like, let it resound in your world. Let it resound. Let it be part of your world. And so to say it out loud and to read out loud is very helpful. That's why I make these audiobooks too. Since I'm reading it out loud anyway, I might as well record it. That's not something you necessarily have to do, but it's coming from this part. My discovery of that is like to say it. It's literally coming out of you. It's literally your voice is being used to let this vibration and this frequency resonate with your world. That does something, I can tell you that. So it's a great way to start your day, for instance, to read this little booklet with the first 50 lessons, to start with that. And maybe you did that for who knows how long. So it really is beautiful. It's a beautiful way to come actively into, this is the frequency that I'm literally starting to flash across the world. This is what I'm giving, and this is how I start my day doing so. Now that's really lovely. So today, like I said, we're going to go a little bit deeper into the idea of unity, but I want to use say a method or a way to do that is kind of familiar now to us, and you can take the space that's available for your way of extending the light that you are. So whether that's in silence, whether that's in sharing your discovery with the expressions that are going to be exposed to you in a moment, or maybe you just read one line together and you say, come for a moment into light, into silence, into receiving what it says, and see what happens. So this is so we use the rooms again. Like I will open up 5 or 6 rooms. Now we're with 11 of us, I think. So it's like 5 rooms maximum. And then before that, I'll show you, I will do that almost immediately now. I will show you expressions that are part of the, say, unity idea. And specifically these ones, I would love you to look at them and maybe pick one favorite that really got to you. Or maybe you just had in our reading one that came to you. That's perfectly well to use too. So I'm going to share the visual for that. The visuals I made for the expressions related to the idea of your brother, unity, oneness. You understand that you are healed when you give healing. You accept forgiveness as accomplished in yourself when you forgive. You recognize your brother as yourself, and thus do you perceive that you are whole. Miracle principle. A miracle is a universal blessing from God through me to all my brothers. It is the privilege of the forgiven to forgive. Miracle principle 2. It's like a miracle is a service. It is the maximal service you can render to one another. It is a way of loving your neighbor as yourself. You recognize your own and your neighbor's worth simultaneously. To perceive the healing of your brother as the healing of yourself is thus the way to remember God. To perceive the healing of your brother as the healing of yourself is thus the way to remember God. Forgiveness is not real unless it brings a healing to your brother and yourself. Healing is an act of thought by which 2 minds perceive their oneness and become glad. Uniting with a brother's mind prevents the cause of sickness and perceived effects. Healing is the effect of minds that join, as sickness comes from minds that separate. Healing is the way, and I think this is the last sheet, healing is the way in which the separation is overcome. Separation is overcome by union. Healing is the way in which the separation is overcome, and separation is overcome by union. Healing is not mysterious. Nothing occurs unless you understand it, since light is understanding. Heal your brothers simply by accepting God for them. Your minds are not separate, and God has only one channel for healing because He has but one Son. Every healing thought which you accept, either from your brother or in your own mind, teaches you that you are God's Son.